a woman in business, you have to be strong, you have to be forceful, you have to be determined, you have to be passionate. And sometimes people think that those are characteristics that mean you're a beast. I don't think so. I think it's all part of developing your passion, going forward, moving forward, and conquering and becoming a business person. Those are characteristics that are important to us. Those are characteristics that will take us forward. But what's also important is that we have a capacity to be compassionate, to be loving, to be incorporating, to be developmental. And that's where I see us being strong business people.
And that was the voice. And our guest today, Roxanne Colthrust, who is the owner and the general manager, the CEO of Colthrust PR, as in public relations. And listening to you, I'm wondering, was there a time before you went into business on your own that you thought about all these things, that the wrong ideas that people have about you, that you can't get a man to look after you, so you have to start your own business, that you're going to have to be so hard and tough, you're going to have to almost emasculate yourself?
That was never a consideration. For me, it was about, I want to do something different. I want to pursue my profession differently. So what can I do? How can I innovate this thing? How can I change it? How can I bring meaning? For me, I was working a pretty good job, but we kept doing things in the same pattern every year, same thing over and over. And I felt that, why can't we do things a little differently? So I kept writing to my GM, writing to this one, can we change this, can we change that? And they said no.
Your GM was a man?
Yes. Okay. We have a particular campaign that we do every year, let's go with that. So the entrepreneurial spirit is what kind of drove me. It wasn't, make more money, it wasn't any of those kind of things. It was, what can I do and what can I do differently and better?
Roxanne, to what extent was there or is there a network of women who are willing to share experiences and network and kind of give a leg up? Because we hear about the Old Boys Club. Do we have an equivalent kind of organization?
Old Girls Club?
We heard about that a little while ago.
That's one that we went back there.
It's all because it's long and established. But do we have the equivalent among us women, or is it that we kind of territorial?
Well, territorial is tough. I mean, no, we're not stingy. But you have to create that environment for yourself. So you have to look at people out there and say, you know what? I need a core group of people around me who can help me in different areas. So you have to kind of seek it out. There's no Queen's Park Oval that you could go to and Lime. No.
You get support from other women.
I get support from other women. I've tried to create around myself, not just peers. I have friends who can give me moral and emotional support. But then I have comrades and associates who can give me that professional support. So they can say, you know what, all right, your accounts, what's happening with on the accounting side, or what's happening on the tax side. What is happening on those kind of professional levels. But when I need that kind of solace, when I need somebody to say, oh gosh, Roxanne, don't worry, it'll be all right. You go to your peers, So you have to create that network for yourself.
When is a good time to go into business and when is a bad time to go into business?
Anytime you feel it in your soul.
And what about the economy and all of that?
The economy is going to be tough.
Is that taken into consideration?
Tough. Of course. You must take that into consideration. We're in a recession. We've been talking about the recession since 2009, in 2011. Come on.
What about women with children? Do you find they more adamant to get into a business? Because if you have a 8-to-4 job, you have some sense of security. Whereas jumping into a business of your own, the risk factor is just so much more. And now you have a child to see about.
Certainly.
So do you think women with children are a little bit more fearful of jumping?
Risk aversion it doesn't matter if you're 80, 23, 18, it doesn't matter if you have children, 2 children, 5 children, it doesn't matter. People are risk averse naturally. But I try to say, you know what, go forward, but plan. Go forward with a plan. You don't just say, all right, you know what, boss, I'm out.
So how, what is the plan? What do you do before you make a decision?
Find what is best for you. Identify for yourself, what is that business that I can do? That your heart, that your passion, that your spirit is into.
And that there's a market for.
And then a lot of people go into business for the wrong reasons, for money as the priority.
Exactly.
But I know, but my thing that I do, my heart is into what I do. Alison's heart is in what she does.
And that's the entrepreneurial spirit right there.
And that's the longevity as well?
Well, I mean, you have to look, I think you always have to look long term. It can't be, you know what, I'll do this business for a year and then I'll stop and then that's it. That's called a consultancy, right? But if you're looking long term and you're saying, you know what, I'm going into business for myself. I can do this thing at a different level. then you have a kind of vision for it. You know, so that kind of drives you, that gives you the passion to go forward. I feel that.
Sorry, I was just going to say, do you find that meeting, that's wonderful, you know, thinking I can get into business myself. But I find that in Trinidad and Tobago in particular, a lot of the women who are in business are in fact women who are married, and their husbands have literally said, listen, you don't have to work for that person anymore. You can go out and do your own thing. And if it fails, it doesn't matter because I'm here to look after you. I don't know. You
Well,
know,
that's fantastic.
I'm seeing a lot of women who are willing to venture out because they know, should it fail, that there's
But
somebody
then
there
I
to
wonder,
pick up the
that's
slack.
what my question was. If you put your heart into something, that person is not because their heart was necessarily into it.
Well, I mean, it's a
this
mixture. It's a mixture.
But the alternate experience is lots of people who have a great idea, don't necessarily have the money, don't necessarily have the family or the contacts. In that position, what kind of groundwork do you need to do to make sure that it is a calculated risk, that this is something that could pay off?
Oftentimes, you can't calculate all the elements of the risk, right? The passion must be there. The planning must be there. Identify what you want to go into. Research it. I mean, the internet is so wide now. It gives you so many ideas, so many avenues to pursue. Get your research done. And I'm not talking, you know, survey done by whoever and whoever. I'm talking grassroots, individual kind of research. Talk to some people. You know, find some people who are in a similar field. Talk to them. How is it going? You know, what have you done? How much money have you had to invest? Talk to them.
Do they help you there? Because
I think there's some
imagine
people.
a lot of them say, why am I giving her all this
And
information?
so that she'll come and take my clients? No.
my clients.
You have to push. You have to push. You have to find it. You have to make the networks, find the linkages. When I started out, I joined the Chamber of Commerce. Now, at that time, that was a huge expense to me, right? Putting out that kind of money to join an association. But it didn't give me that new business opportunity, but it gave me a chance to meet some people who are at different levels of the game, right? So that, you know, some people say, you know what, from get-go, make sure your account's close to order. It can't be always in order, but close to order. Or surround yourself with people who can help, staff members who are capable, you know, so that the burden is not always on you to produce and do and everything.
And you just raised two key issues, the question of accounts and taxes
Yeah.
and salaries.
Regularizing the business.
And
Is that
and
daunting
getting
for a
to the
young
business.
woman?
Certainly,
And managing staff.
because often with managing that side of it, the accounting and the finance, you don't have guidance. So you're kind of doing it on your own
Or you
for the
don't know
first
where to
time.
turn to.
Correct,
Tell me some
correct.
friend of mine told me quick, Lee, 5 years is the maximum time left to take a business off the ground. Is that true?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
About
I'll tell
5
you. I'll
years.
tell you. The first 5 years to me, it was a consultancy. I operated from home. Right, I went to my clients, you know, place a business. I did good work. But then we said, you know what? Let's take it to the next level. How do we move? And the movement came with the staff and the right?
And as we close,
Oh, yeah,
as we close, one final question. Your staff, do you have men working for you?
Yes.
Do you have more men than women?
No, actually, as in public relations, we tend to have more women,
The reason I'm
unfortunately.
asking because I know a lot of my friends who work and they have bosses, both men and women. They always say the women are the hardest people to work for. The women say they don't like to work for women.
And that's, you know, I wish we need to develop that nurturing side more. But a lot of the international research says that women achieve more in business. They're at the higher levels of success in organizations. And it's because we can incorporate that bonding, you know, that familial kind of relationships with our staff. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it develop more.
Okay, Roxanne called for us. Thanks very much for coming and chatting with us, giving us an insight what it is to be a businesswoman and coping. Next, we're going to have a lady who is going to, in fact, tell us about, you know, keeping our reputations above board in management. Okay, stay with us.